Hello. Hello. It's Saturday night. Woohoo! Saturday night. Saturday night. Picking up stuff off the floor. Hi, this is going to be a live show. A live craft show tonight. And we'll be doing some crafting, some little bit of clay work, and we'll do a doggy tag, and we might get into some arts and crafts. So this is a craft show. It's live. I will be interacting with the craft room, the chat room, and so if you're watching this at a later time and you want to zip through and get to the good parts, please do. And in the meantime, I will be interacting with the chat room. We'll be chit-chatting and interacting with each other. They'll be telling me what to do, and we're going to be as goofy as possible. And there's Miss Janet. Hi, Janet. How are you tonight? Good evening. So I've been playing with my little whistles, and I'm not getting anywhere, but it's trying. It's trying to make noise. It's trying, but I'm not getting any whistles yet. And I'm going to try another one tonight. Going to try it again. This one is almost whistling. They're fine. Abby and Nora are fine. They're still here. We haven't chewed off any heads or anything, and they're getting along fine. Nora kind of stays to herself, and she goes off into the living room, and she lays on the floor in there, and she seems to like it. Yep, that one's almost there. I think I just I got to tweak it just a little bit more. So yeah, I just got to tweak it a little bit more, and I'll get it. But I watched another video. Hi, Deborah. So I saw another idea that I might be able to do to help my whistle, and I can draw a picture of what I'm going to try to say. It's the guy that I watched last night on it. He was talking about the dynamics of the inside of the blowhole, inside here, and the mechanism of these two marks right here. They're both kind of got a slant, and this one's got a 45-degree slant as well. So when the air goes across, this is the blowhole that you're going across, like if you're on a pop bottle. And I chipped this one. This one might not make it. And the picture that he gave me to make me understand it was like, this is the inside of the ocarina. This is the ball circle part. And you're going to put your holes, up here. And then you're going to have a blowhole here. And then you're going to have the this is the top part right here, this side, and it's going to go at a 45-degree angle slant. Then the air is going to trickle across to this side, which is at a slant as well. And this point has to be just a little bit lower than the front. Just a smidgen lower. That way when you blow the air in, it will go across and down and somehow come back out this hole to make the noise. The air is going to do a circular circle, and then by manipulating the holes with your fingers, you're going to get different tones. Yes, it is. It's a challenge. But, we learn. That's how we learn. And I'm not an expert at anything, but if we do it together, put our heads together, many heads make bright ideas. So anyway, that's kind of the way it goes. So and that's kind of the circulatory system on the inside. And then like on this one, I've kind of smushed the sides a little bit. I've smushed it in because the clay was so soft. So tonight I'm going to try it one more time and see if I can't improve on that. And see, I've smushed this one down too. So if I had it more of a ball, I think maybe I'll have a better chance of getting a whistle. That's what I'm trying to say. So, you have never seen an ocarina before? Well, you have now. They've been around for years and years and years. They were around before instruments were around. And then I think I'll do a shaker too. I want to do a little shaker. So I got some more clay over here. Got some more clay. I got this brown clay over here. I think I'll use some brown clay tonight. Yeah, it's been around since cavemen, probably. Yep. I think it was originated through Indians, natives. And they sound a lot like a recorder, the plastic recorders. I do, for some reason. Well, plus I've made it before, so it's nothing really new to me. I just made this probably about 2 years ago, and I had to remember how to do it all. But, Deborah, have you been crafting today? What's on your table? Hi, Giovanna. We're going to try to make another ocarina. I'm hooked. I am hooked. Multi-projects going on. Woohoo! Go way to go, Deborah. I do better with multitasking. Yes, I do. I like multitasking. I feel a crap avalanche coming on. I feel it. I can feel a crap avalanche coming along. Oh, are you making a lap book? I can't wait to do my lap book, but I'm just going to have to wait a while before I start another project because I've got some things I need to finish first. But I do like the lap book that Lisa's doing, and I did do her fabric journal. So when while I was doing all the felting, I've been putting all that in my fabric journal. So and there's still a lot more I can do in my fabric journal that I just haven't got around to do yet. Because you can always sew and stitch in it, Oh, that's good, Janet. That's good. Oh, you did ACTs with Aunt Beck? Good. She's a very good doodler. This clay is not doing what I want it to do. Hi, Joe.
Hello, how are you all?
We're just in here goofing off. Messing up the clay.
How'd you get the dog quit barking?
She quit on her own.
Ooh.
Joe was outside working in the yard and the dogs were barking at him. As soon as you get that fence up, you can let him out with you, and I think Nora would love it out there.
Yeah, but I'll be done working in that part. Yeah, they'll be fine.
She'll like the backyard. I think she would love to just explore.
That's what I told Mary or Joanne. So we make it tonight?
I'm going to try to make another ocarina.
Ocarina.
I've got some more fabric things I want to make too to put in my fabric journal, Janet. I made some homemade tassels a couple years ago, and they were really, really cute. And I wanted to show you all how I made my homemade tassels. They were real hobo style. Let's try this again.
I got some layer in there, isn't it?
Yeah, I put it all back together. Merged it back together.
She learned how to do that by forging the clay.
Forging the clay.
Yeah, if you've ever watched Forging the Steel, and guys making that stuff, they have to make it. It has to be a certain pressure, certain temperature to get it all the molding to one piece of.
I'm just working on getting the air bubbles out where I've put the clay back together and made a new ball. It's called, there's a name for it. I'll think of it in a minute.
Good mixture.
It's where you, what's the machine when you pour it down and it pushes the clay out?
Pressing.
There's a term. It's called getting all the air out of the clay.
It's real simple.
I'll think of it tomorrow.
That's that sometimers.
It's that sometimer's disease I have.
Yep.
Yeah, Janet, the tassels were really cute, the ones that I made. Extruder. It's an
Yeah.
air extruder from your clay. It takes the air out of your clay and you put it in a machine and you pull the handle down and it squeezes all the air out of your clay. It's called an air extruder.
Yeah.
They're very expensive. That you can buy them to put on your wall. You put the machine on your wall, you put the clay in it, and then you have to pull down on the lever with all of your weight to get the clay to come out, and it squishes it all together to make it air free. And you can do it yourself by wedging your clay.
Air solidifier.
Okay, let's see what I've done with my tassels. Got some around here. What have I done with my tassels?
They're one of your books.
Yeah, Janet, it's on the throwdown. They have big ones. And then they've got these big rolling tables, and you put a great big old slab of clay in there, and it makes it flat. You roll it through like a ironing board, and it irons your clay. Yeah. I would love to get a hold of uh, an estate sale where they have clay throwing items to get somebody's clay tools that they don't use anymore, you know. I would love to have some tools. You know how guys do it. Well, girls can do it too. Joe's looking at me really weird right now.
Well, if you say so, honey.
You know I'm right. You know there's no need to argue.
I got all the tools in the world, and I can't be as good as you.
Well, I'm not sure if that's a compliment or not.
Yeah, it sure is. I think so, don't you, ladies?
Well, these girls love me unconditionally, Joe.
Oh. Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
BFF.
Joe's being mean to me, girls.
BFF forever.
He is being
Best
mean.
friends.
Being mean. I was trying to get back on eBay to look at that computer, and I couldn't sign on because I need to get on there and change our email address because it's on the old email address, and I couldn't get on. And it was wanting to send a text code, but it was to your phone, and you were outside, so I just give up. I'll have to do it later.
What if you put just a tad bit of water in that? Would it help any? It's kind of getting.
It's not dry. It's got a lot of water.
Okay. You just need to push harder, right?
Well, you have to do it in increments because if you do it all at once, you'll rip it.
Yeah, I see that.
If you do it slow, you're compressing.
And you're working it out.
You're compressing the clay together to make it more tighter.
Right.
And the tighter the clay is together, the better it'll hold. That's extruding the air out. Mm-hmm. And it's compacting the clay closer together. And I do it again with this.
I think you need a big 16 by 16 piece of ceramic tile do you work on. That's not almost big enough.
Well, honey, I got a big marble pad out there in the garage.
Oh, that's right.
I'm trying to get out there. I'm trying. I do the best I can with what I got.
And if she ain't got it, she tries to get it.
Well, I'll put it on my wish list. Gotta have a wish list every
Well,
now
what
and
about
then.
that dog?
I don't know. What about that dog?
Look at her. She's guarding your fresh hoe.
Abby's my faithful.
No.
It's Nora.
Nora's got the
She's
on
right in the
guard.
middle of the door, huh?
Yeah, she's right in between the door and the. She, she
Mm-hmm.
just had a little excitement with that big family coming down the road.
Hi, Suzanne. So anyway, I'm going to try to do another ocarina this time, and three times a charm, right? Three times a charm.
No, 3 times is a better piece of
So practice
practice.
makes practice makes perfect.
Oh, it's horrible, honey. You want me to tell you what she's going to say next, girls?
We do finish each other's sentences a lot. A lot.
A lot. It's because I love you.
I know you do, honey.
I'm going outside.
Put the air on low. Or turn my fan on.
Well, that would help. I can't believe you got 3 fans.
So anyway, I'm going to do this one just a little bit different, and I'm tweaking my technique. I'm using my ball in the middle, and I have a bright idea. Uh-oh, the sound kicked off. My the Corona person, or the voice in the box. Hi, Barika. Uh-oh. How are you, Barika? I don't know you. Welcome, honey. This is have you been in here before? Have you been in here before? We're doing some clay work right now in the chat. Welcome. This is a craft show, and we're really we're just goofy in here, okay? So don't, if you don't mind goofy and corny, that's the way we roll. So I'm making a ocarina. Oh, good. Well, thank you. Thanks for coming back. Thanks for saying hello. I get a lot of people who sit in the background, and that's okay too. We don't mind. Okay, so anyway, there's my one half, and I'm going to carve my blowhole before I put it together this time. Okay, Deborah will be right back. Where do you live, Barika? What part of the neck of the woods are you from? You got a high screeching noise. Norway. Woohoo! Well, welcome, honey. Uh, Janet is from England, and I. Do you watch Sana? She's from Netherlands. Welcome, welcome. I think I get a few girls from her. I was watching Maggie Lockley last night, and she lives in off of Australia, New Zealand. Okay, there's the other half. So it's getting close to midnight over where you are now, isn't it? Janet has to come on early. Try to catch me as early as I can get on. I try to come on early for her. A couple of the other girls, they want to fix their dinner or go to bed. Well, great. Good, Marika. Okay. So, anyway, I've got two halves, and I'm going to try to attempt to make my blowhole on the back. And I'm going to use a popsicle stick, and I'm going to go in straight. And then this one's going to go in at a 45-degree angle. And then the sides are going to be straight. And the square can come out of the hole. And I can clean it up because I don't have my ends together, my sides together yet. I can clean it up on the inside better than I can when I have it together. So I can get all this extra little chunky stuff smoothed out. And they say that the circle inside, the smoother it is, the better chance you have of getting that whistle. So I'm just removing a little bit of extra clay. And going by directions from somebody else who I watched. And that's how I'm doing it. And they said that this hole needed to be lower than this hole. So I'm just going to push it down and manipulate it to go down. And I'm going to add some more clay to this spot. And I'm just smoothing out where the mouthpiece is going to be. has a tendency to crack around the mouth. Well, that was a big flop. Let's try it again. And this is just trial and error for me. I'm uh, just trying to make it work. This is the first time I've done it this way. So I'm going to try to smooth that out again since it ripped. Okay, I might have to go to a plan B if I can't get this to do what I want it to do. But anyway, as soon as I get this smoothed out the way I want it, I'll see if I can't get it to work. So anyway, this mouthpiece needs to be reinforced. I am working hard on this one. But you gotta have a blowhole there. He's got the TV on in there. Okay, I don't know. This is a different one. Turn it down just a bit, little bit, honey. Yep, that's better. The girls want me to make a rain stick now, so you need to give me a little piece of
Now?
Well, not this very
You mean
second.
tonight?
No, not tonight.
No, I mean I can go do it.
So anyway, here's my upper one, and this one just needs the drill hole.
Okay. Give me a few seconds, and I'll go get you. Man. Yep. Yep. You wanna go with me? Nora, you wanna go with Daddy too? Yeah.
Now you see the dimples on the inside? That's what they're talking about. If it was smoother, the air would flow better, smoother inside, and would make a better noise if I didn't have these little nubbies in there. So that's what I'm going to try to take off tonight. You would think that it wouldn't be that much of a difference, but they say it does. So
What, taking the nubbies off?
yeah,
Well, you're restricting the flow of your air.
yeah, I know it.
It's like going.
How's that go again?
It's like a wolf blowing down the house. You can't blow it down because there's restrictions.
He can't.
You see that commercial? I've got a real nice drill bit that would go right through that and leave a
Yeah.
bevel on the outside.
It would.
Yeah.
Does it look like?
Wait a minute.
Does it look like
Wait a
this?
minute. Wait a minute.
That's what that is.
Is it point bevel? Let me see what it looks like. I can get to it. No, it's a drill bit.
It's a drill bit.
Yeah. But it's got a wider point at one point where you're taking it cleans it out.
So I like that. That looks good.
Mm-hmm.
That looks good.
Do you have any more of this 1/4 inch? Because this is what you're going to need to make it.
Uh, I got another one over here somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's a couple over there. No,
I got one more drill bit.
no, I'm talking about a wood.
I will probably need your drill so that I can make the holes, and I want the holes as big as this.
Oh, you want a little bit. Okay.
This is how big I want my drill holes. So, and I'm going to need your power tool. Unless you want to go ahead and put it in for me. I want to be able to stick the skewer in the hole.
Yeah.
And leave it in the middle of the tube
Uh-huh.
and break it off and glue it.
Good.
So that these are sticking in the inside all the way down in the.
You want to wrap it around like that?
I'm going to go in a spiral.
Yeah.
And poke these in every 2 inches along the rain tree. And then you see these plugs here, they use bigger dowel rods.
I seen that.
And so they put in and they break them off and sand it off. And then when the rice or the pebbles fall down, they trickle along these little sticks.
Okay. Are you going to use rice or are you going to use popcorn?
Popcorn.
Yeah, okay. So you just need one hole. It's going to be about 1/4 of an inch.
Are you still hearing a squeaky noise? I don't hear it because I've got my volume turned off. Does everybody have a high squeaky sound?
What is this that?
But this is a rain stick because it sounds like rain. And we've got some bamboo in the backyard, and Joe's going to bring it in and let me have it. And then I'm going to take and saw off the ends and glue them back on.
Well, you need saw one.
Will you saw one off for me? And I need both pieces so I can fill it up.
Okay.
And then I need a little hole here and a little hole here. You want to take this with you?
Oh, okay.
So, and this is what the size I want. So this is what I have.
Okay.
And then we'll fill it up and glue it and sand it in here and paint it and make a range stick. Nobody else hears it. Okay, Veronica. I don't know.
Can you hear that?
Oh, coloring is the best medicine for your sleeping problems. Okay, well that's good. It fulfills your mind and it gives you something to think about and dream about that's pleasant. Uh-huh. That's what kind of what I do. I play a boring game of solitaire until I nod off, and then I can go straight to sleep because it's not a big thinking game. It's easy to play. It doesn't require a lot of concentration, and I play solitaire. I do that. Yeah. Okay. So now, excuse me, I'm going to take and score these halves and put them together.
Let's see what
Okay. This is what you do when you want to put two halves together. And you make it little uh, roughed up. And then you put a little bit of water on it and makes the slip. And then the slip will adhere to the other side and it'll be like a little bit of glue. It'll make it stick like mud. So this makes it slippery and then it'll give the two halves something to stick together with.
could use those. These might not be big enough.
Okay, that'll be fine. I'll accept it.
And I got these two here.
Okay,
You got plenty.
okay, that'd be great, Joe.
Okay.
Joe's on a mission for me.
It's a combination. He's got something going and I got something going too.
So I got my slippery on there now. And then I will put my two halves together. And this is like a cookie cutter. They're not going to match up. Yeah, they will. I'll make them match. mushing together, and the water kind of comes out the edge, and it makes it more of a sphere. Now I've got to take my popsicle stick and put it in this seam to make the mouth hole. And I messed it up already. Can you believe it? Leave it to me. See if I can fix it. This has to go into the breathing hole. I'll push it back together. Okay. Let's patch this side back up. Got the sneezies. Okay. So I'm just going to move this in and out. Because it's the blowhole. Yeah, I made the markings before I put them together. That way I won't have so much of a flat sphere. See, I pushed this one down and I had this one pushed down. It was as big as the ball. And you can see the difference. This is more rounded now. So I watched a video yesterday on what we're trying to make is a whistle. And the whistle has to have a blowhole. And the blowhole is like when you're blowing in a bottle, when you blow in a pop bottle and you, like a jug, and you make a noise. Well, that's kind of what we're making here in a sense. And the boy that explained it, he he wrote a he drew a diagram of the dynamics of what you're trying to accomplish inside of the whistle. And he used a figurine like this. He said inside your whistle you have the sphere, the ball, okay? And you have your holes for your fingers on top, And then along the middle, where the seam is together, you're going to have a blowhole here, which is what the popsicle stick is doing. It's making a, a place to blow into the inside. And then you've got this little square hole that we've cut with the X-Acto knife. And the top of this hole is going to go in at a 45-degree angle right over top of the blowhole that you blow into. And then the back side over here on this side has to be another 45-degree angle this direction. And the top of this piece of clay needs to be directly underneath the front hole. So I take my popsicle stick and I kind of gently fold this guy down a little bit to where he is underneath the lip of the front. And then when I blow into the instrument, my air is going to go from here straight in, straight across, and then it's going to do a circular motion inside the sphere, and it's going to circle around and come out the top. And it comes out this way. So it goes in, circles around inside, and blows out to make a whistle. Hi, Rhonda. They said my volume is low. I'm usually too loud. So anyway, that's how the inside of this works. And that's why I wanted to um, do the cutting before I put it together, because I have a habit of smushing it, as I'm working on it, because the clay is so soft. So now that I did that, I'm going to see if it'll blow. And I'm going to make sure that my uh, joints are all together to make it airtight. And it probably is. It's pretty thick clay. But there's my air hole. And if we cross our fingers and our toes, we might get a response. And if we get a response, we will gently lay it down and let it dry and not disturb it if we get good results. Like, don't fool with it if it works. So here is our blowhole. Here's our holes. So let's see if we have any luck. Hi, Rhonda. Hi, Sherry. a very good video that demoed how to do it. And he said, you just have to fiddle with it till you get it. That's what he kept saying. Fiddle with it. Fiddle. I wish it was a lot easier than it is. And of course, he also said that this particular clay is non-toxic clay, and it won't hurt you if you put your mouth on it and get a little bit of this clay in your mouth because it's non-toxic. And I also that all of the glazes that I buy, the brands of glazes that I buy are also non-toxic on purpose. Everything I have is uh, edible, to it is food safe, so that you can cook with it and eat off of them, my plates and cups. Uh, when when I got into my clay, uh, I had to make a decision, of what I wanted to buy. And as I did more homework, I discovered that there are 10 different types of clay, tons. And I discovered that it, I could choose the low firing and the high firing clays. And I said, well, maybe I'll just start with one, and just stick to low firing. And then as I grow in my hobby, I can I can go into that later. So I chose the low firing clay. That way I knew all of my glazes were for low firing clay, and I wasn't getting them confused and mixed up, because when you have a high firing clay, you've got to have a high firing glaze, which is a higher temperature, is what it's talking about. High temp and low temp. So I chose the low firing style, and I also chose all of the food safe. That way I didn't have to worry about any of my pieces being toxic. Uh, and usually the those type of pieces are not, they're for looks. The pottery is for looks. So that's what I did. And and I've just stuck with it. That's what I've done. But some of these girls that I watch on YouTube, they are doing mass production of their products, of their dishes and things, and I'm not. I'm just I'm just doing it for myself. Uh, I'm not selling. So it makes it okay for me. So Well, I played and piddled. I don't know if I've done any good or not. But wouldn't it be cool if it worked? Wouldn't it be cool? Wouldn't it? I need a long pokey tool. Nope. Back to the drawing board. I'm not having any luck. Not yet. Got an extra hole there. Let's see if that works. Keep me patched up. might have to give up. I keep breaking the backside out. Well, I've messed it up big time now. I keep making more holes. I might have to start over, which is no big deal. No big deal if I do. Yep, gotta have patience. I need to let this one dry a little bit. I keep breaking it open. Okay, I'm gonna let this one dry for a little while, and we'll try working on it again later. So, on a lighter note, I was showing you all my sewing box the other day, and I was telling you about my little girl's pin cushions that I have in my. This was made by my grandmother, and she gave me this 30 years ago. And she would make these little girls, and then you flip it up, and there's all kinds of little skirts. And this is where you would put your pins and your needles. It's a needle holder for your sewing box. And she'd make these all the time. And I just wanted to show it to you. Something old. Something old that she sewed the beads on and the lace and the little stitches. And she sit and do this kind of stuff in front of the TV all the time. Uh, fond, fond memories right here. Fond memories. And she'd make this, and she'd like she was giving me the whole world when she gave me this little thing. So I found that. What else was I going to show you girls? Uh, did you all see Joyce Boring's dog on my Facebook page that she did Thursday? She did such a wonderful job. This turned out cute. It was a total bust, but Joyce really did a wonderful job on hers. See if I can find it. Here it is. Didn't she do great with her dog? I love it. It's so cute. She glued each one of those strings on by themselves. Cute, cute, cute. So it just goes to show you everybody's got their imagination. So if you want anybody wants to art along, please do. I highly invite you. And then Cheryl, I don't know where she is tonight. She she's starting a woman book, a power woman book, and she was gluing the same girl in her book. I had the same magazine. It was from an AARP magazine, and I cut her Shine Twain out and put her in my book. And so Cheryl Johnson did the same thing. I thought that was cute. Yeah. So anytime anybody wants to share, uh, here's a picture of Norma. So anytime anybody wants to share, please do. Please do. Well, I'm going to try another one. I think I am. I'm just going to not give up. I'm not going to give up. I just don't know what I'm doing wrong. Hi, Teresa. Yeah, I'm not going to give up too quickly. It's got to work. It's got to come together somehow. And once I figure out the key, I'll be sure to tell you all the secrets. Because I'm sure it's just a matter of getting that right angle in there. If you give up, then you'll never get it to work. So that won't work. Well, she's doing very well. She's still here. No trouble. She's no trouble at all. She's potty trained. She she lays around in the living room floor. She does not get on the furniture. She hasn't gotten in the garbage. She will not jump up on my bed. And I try to get her to cuddle with us because Abby and I get up in the bed and we cuddle and we watch TV. And I want her to come in and join us. Okay, Suzanne, I'm trying to carve more out here, thinking that maybe that was it because on this one I did. I had to carve, push this down more to get it to whistle across. So that's what I'm doing now. But she seems to be fine. She's beautiful. She's a big dog. She's bigger than what I expected. I wasn't expecting a big dog. I wanted a little one, a littler one. And they said she weighs 20 pounds, but I swear she's heavy. I think she weighs more than that. And her feet are big, and I'm worried that she might get to be a bigger dog. And I guess that's just par for the course if she does. She'll be a big dog. But I don't think she's as much skipper key as Abby is. Okay. Here's what I found out, Sue. You have the ball, the sphere. This is your ocarina, the ball shape, and you've got your holes up here on top for your finger holes, and then on the side, you've got in the middle, you've got a blowhole, and that's where the popsicle stick went in the end. And then you have this little square that you cut out, and the front square is 45 degrees angled this way, and then the back one is also 45 degrees that way. And the bottom of the front, the very bottom of the front has to be a little higher than the back side. This back side needs to be a little bit lower so that the air that you blow in hits this edge, back edge, and then the air somehow goes into the sphere and it rolls around and then it comes back up out of that blowhole to make the whistle. It's some kind of a circulatory uh, blowing that makes the whistle. And this blowing across this point right here is also like blowing across your pop bottle jug whistle when you blow across the pop bottle. And I think that's the level that we want. And we want the front to be higher than the back. This has to be really in the middle. And you have to have that directly aligned for it to work. So uh, I'm pushing, I'm whittling the clay down in the back so that it will be a little bit lower than the front. And the the gentleman that explained that to me last night on a YouTube channel was excellent, and I thought it was very good to hear that because when you hear when you know what you got to do, it makes sense, Instead of wondering what's wrong, he explained it very clearly what's wrong. So anyway, I was whittling this trough out in hopes that the air would come back out. And so I made a new one, and I didn't put them together until after I made the cuts so that I wouldn't push so much on the spheres and make it flat like I did this one. I squished it too much and almost didn't get enough big enough space in there for it to view. So I'm thinking that this is going to be a better fit. I'm hoping. So that's all I know at this point. And if this don't work, then we will definitely have to watch some more videos. And I learned it a couple years ago, and it was from a teacher in a classroom that taught how to do it. And I haven't come across her yet again this time. But I like using this X-Acto knife and shaving the areas here. It makes it nice. So that's all I know at this point. I've been watching the Eagle Cam, and I've got some good news. The Eagles, the Eagles have an egg. They got a new egg. It just happened this afternoon. I've been watching it every morning. I check the video. It's a live cam, and there was no egg this morning. And when I got back on again about 2 o'clock, there was an egg. Woohoo! We're gonna have a baby eaglet. It's fun watching them. Like I tune in just to see how their day went. But they had an eaglet earlier this spring, and they lost it. There was an accident. I don't know what they officially labeled it as, but I know what happened. I saw what happened, and the they were on high alert. Somebody there was a intruder in their area over their nest. So Harriet, the mother of the baby, she picked the eaglet up and flew off with the eaglet to safety until the intruder left. And then when she brought the eaglet back to the nest, the baby started bleeding under his arm. And I think she accidentally got one of her talons under his arm and punctured him uh, without meaning to. It was just an accident because the baby bled and he died during the night. So they lost the chicklet, and then there was another egg, but it never did hatch. So when they went up into the nest and retrieved the baby eaglet, and then they went ahead and took the egg too, and they sent it to the lab to uh, check it out and see what was going on, and they said it just never developed. It was fertile, it was fertilized, but it was not. It just never developed. So, which happens. That happens. That's nature. That's part of nature, and it's nothing to be sad about. It's just part of their nature and survival. And there wasn't anything that anybody could have done. They were protecting the baby, and she was thought she was protecting her little baby, and she flew off with it to protect it and didn't realize her own strength. And I did hit this one. I chipped it. So, but anyway, that's normal, the normal for the eagles. It's about 1 out of 10 do not make it of the eagles' eggs. So, but the eagles are not on the endangered list anymore. They used to be on the endangered list, and they've removed them. So that's wonderful news there. Wonderful news. And this is the Southwest Florida Eagle Cam in Florida, and it's in Fort Myers, and it's a 24-hour live camera on the eagle nest, and it is sponsored by a real estate company. So it's 24 hours a day um, watch, and it is so to watch them sit up in that tree during the sunset is so majestic to see both of those shadows of those birds sitting up there in that tree. It's it's beautiful. It's really a beautiful sight to see these wild animals in the trees, and that they were able to film them and watch them, observe them. The cameras are up over top of the nest, and there's I think there's about 5 different cameras that they can view and monitor. No, it's not a very high amount, but at least it's better than none. And that's part because, they're in the wild and they have a 50-mile radius on their territory. Did you hear that? Hark! Hark! What did I hear? Yoo-hoo! Did y'all hear that? I am going to continue to do what I do best. Hark! Is that you, Don Juan? Hark! What do I hear? Suzanne was right. Pushing down on this back part is what's doing it. You saw that on I Love Lucy? I carved quite a bit. Look at all this down here I carved out. I carved a hole in it too. So there is a light at the end of the tunnel. But anyway, so Harriet was sitting on the egg all afternoon, and all of a sudden she starts squawking, and here comes hubby, and he comes and sits down beside her in the nest, and it's like, okay, it's your turn, get on here. So she scoots off the egg, and he goes right, plops down right on top of it. So all you have to do now is fire them. That's right. These they're almost bone dry. Maybe these are just 2 days old, and I would let them dry out a little bit more, a couple days, and then I'm going to put them all in the kindling, in the fire, in the oven, and I'm going everything that we've made, all those crosses and the hearts and the things that we've made, the mugs, they're all going to go into the oven, and I've got layers of shelving, and the shelving will, and I've got these little stilts, little legs, to put down so I can put another shelf on top, and I can go like 5 different layers in the oven. Now, when they're a dry clay like this, it doesn't matter if they touch each other inside the oven. Because there's no glaze on them, there's no risk of them melting together. So, but this will get off. This will go into the fire, and it will go up to 900 degrees, and about for about 6 hours, it will glow red. This will get so hot that it will glow red. It'll be red hot, and when it's firing all of the air, all of the moisture out of the clay. Because believe it or not, there's still moisture inside this clay because it's only been 2 days. So the moisture will slowly evaporate out of the clay, and then as it bakes, you're actually cooking the clay, and then when you turn the oven off, it will harden to a, a ceramic type of material. The clay will turn hard and make it into a dish. And at that point, the first firing, this will become bisque. Right now, this is leather hard clay. This is raw clay. This is raw clay, wet clay. This is dry leather hard clay. and it will be ready to go into the firing. And uh, I will probably go ahead and do it next week and get these things done. Woohoo! And then, Suzanne, you want one of everything. You need to get down here, girl. I need to get you down here so you can make some. Suzanne wants one of these. But anyway, after I bisque them, I bake them one time. These will glow fiery red in the oven, and they will even swell. They'll swell with heat after you cook it. The first time they'll swell up with heat, with fire and red, and they'll you can see it breathing in the oven through the peepholes. And then after you cook it the first time, then you get to take it out of the oven, and then you get to paint it with glazes. And glazes are not acrylic paint. It's actually glass. It's paint made out of ground up glass. And that paint, that specific glaze, you paint it onto your piece, and then you bake it a second time, and then this will the glass will melt onto the piece, and then that's when it becomes a ceramic piece of art. Yes. And while the clay is at this stage, you can sand on your piece, as much as you want. You can use a little sandpaper. You can go over it with a little sharp edge, a little knife. You can use a little file. I got these little files at Harbor Freight, and you can use these little files and file your edges and, really critique your piece as much as you really, really want. You can also use a damp sponge. Janet's doing avocado dyeing. Cool. A damp sponge will also uh, soften the edges of your dry piece. So before I put these into the oven, I need to go over every single piece that we've made and check this, make sure there's not any sharp edges, because once you fire it, that's it. You're not going to be able to do a whole lot more to it on the next round. After it becomes bisque, you can use another file, another sandpaper, but it's a lot harder to work with. So it's best to work with your piece before you bisque it. And this is what you call cleaning your piece. And I don't mind the imperfections, and to me that just makes it more unique. That it's pottery, and it's natural. But if something's not quite something catching your eye, you can work on it a little bit and make it smoother till you're happy with it. And see this one here, I did the same thing. I went through each joint and made sure I got it the way I want it. So I got this one to whistle. Wonder if I need to do any more. Getting awful thin down there. Now, if your clay is got too much moisture in it, and you put it in the oven, and it is not leather hard, and there's moisture on the inside of the clay, it will combust and break. It will. And one time I was heating the oven up. I had a full bisque load. I had a full load in it, and I heated it up, and I was in a hurry. I was sitting down. I was sitting outside in the pottery room, and I turned it on high, and I was sitting there at the table doing something, painting or something, and all of a sudden I heard kapow, kaboom, and I looked over at that oven, and it was something had busted, something had popped. And I said, "Oh my gosh, I turned it on high too soon." And I went back over and turned it back down on low, and I lost about 3 bowls. Well, the oven was too hot to get into it, so I had to go forward. Okay, I couldn't just stop everything I was doing, so I turned the oven back on low. I have 2 peepholes, and then you can crack the lid. So when you're warming the oven up, I leave my peepholes open because I've got plugs for them, and then I crack the lid about 2 inches with a brick, and I let the oven warm up slowly. And if there's any moisture, it's going to evaporate. But you have to do it real slow, real slow. So we're talking a half hour. Every half hour, you can turn it up 1 notch. Every half hour, you can turn it up to till you get up to medium heat, and then when you get up to medium heat, then you can lower the lid. You're letting the moisture release out slowly, and then when it gets up to medium high heat, you can put the bottom plug in of the peephole, and then when you get back on high heat and it's roaring fire, then you could put the plug in the top peephole, and you can let it the whole oven cook for 6 hours, and it will cook these to a bisque. And Joe just brought me in a bamboo. Okay, thank you.
I just did that so I keep them
That's
uniform.
fine. That's fine.
Okay, here's your sticks,
Okay.
and there's one hole at one end that's bigger. You got your clip here,
Oh, to hang it.
hang
Okay.
it, and then one right.
Here.
One of them's bigger. It's right.
Oh, I don't know.
It's a big one, big enough to put popcorn in.
Okay.
But I think the key might be that they have to be dry because yours is yellow.
Uh-huh. Yeah, this is green.
This is green. We'll
This
try
is a
it with the
bamboo.
green.
This is bamboo.
There it is, right there.
Oh, that would be.
That's
Okay.
a 3/8.
So he put this tape on here and drilled holes all the way around
So they'll be in
on my
uniform.
bamboo stick. It's quite heavy. So we could take the black tape off. Electrical tape.
Yeah.
And then we can work on this next week.
Yeah, I'll leave it out in the sun every day, and it'll start perking up.
Thank you, honey. It's perfect.
And
But if you cut these in half, you can use them for mugs.
with holes.
Not with the holes.
Yeah, I've got some, and Rick's got some that's already dried out that's dead.
Okay.
We'll try that too.
So anyway, we got some. We can do a rain stick now. Okay. Yeah, it was growing in the backyard. Yeah, you can see into the fire. Um, when it gets to be red hot, you're not supposed to stare at the red hotness because that's not good for your eyes. And but you can put sunglasses on and look into it. And the old fashioned ovens, you would have a peephole, and then on the inside of the peephole, you would have the cones, the little triangle cones, and they would be sitting on a little sample plate. And that's how you would tell whether or not to turn the oven off or not, whether or not the cones had bent over. Okay, Teresa. Bye, honey. And and the newer ovens, they kept coming up with newer ideas. And I have an oven that has a switch. So the cone goes on this direction, and then the switch lays on top of the cone. And when the cone melts and falls, the switch will fall and turn the oven off. So it's an on off switch after it gets hot enough. And the cones are scientifically made up to go off at a certain degree. And you've got different types of cones for different types of cooking. So when you want to cook it for a bisque, I put a 6 cone in there and I fire it up to make it really, really hot. The, the cone melts, falls off the switch, and the on off switch clicks it off and it cuts the electric to it. And then I have to wait for it to completely cool down before I touch it because it's too hot. And it usually takes 6 to 8 hours to cool off. Excuse me. And um, you cannot just go to it and open up the door because the cold air to the hot pottery will cause it to crack and explode as well. So there's lots of little tips on how to do it. And I just read about it and kept reading about it and kept reading about it until I learned it. So when it comes to opening the lid to the oven, I have to wait until it really, really cools down. And I have big old heat gloves that you use for welding gloves. I have welding gloves that I wear when I'm around the oven because, you know, if you were to get burnt, you'd have to go to the hospital because it would be a third-degree burn. So when I cool it off, I have to wait. It kills me. It kills me to have to wait because you just can't wait to get inside. And when I lived up home, we had a 3-story house, and the kiln was in the basement, and we slept upstairs. And I would run downstairs to get down into the basement to get out there and see if I could open that lid yet. And every time you open the lid, it's like Christmas. I kid you not. It is like Christmas to see all that pretty stuff inside. And it's the most exciting part of the pottery is just opening it up and seeing the final pieces that you've made. And to know that you've made it all by hand, it's amazing. It's just amazing. And you guys are going to experience that with me. That's why I want to get the camera in the garage, uh, so that you all can go out there with me and see it. And that's my goal. That's my goal. So uh, so anyway, since I can't get out of the garage yet, I've been doing it in here, and we've been having fun. We've been doing stuff, and I've thrown a couple of bowls, and we've been having fun. And I forget that I have done a lot of clay work. Uh, you know, I made these. I mean, I forgot all about all this kind of stuff I've made. And hi, Giovanna. I've been in and out of the chat room all evening. I know you have. Yes, Giovanna. Everybody's hearing the high pitch noise. Do you think it's coming from me? If anybody has any suggestions, I would be glad to do it. Oh, really? Well, let's see. If I go out, I'll I can try to exit out and see if that helps. Let me see if I have anything else open that might cause it. I did have some windows open. Do you still hear it? Suzanne's good. Giovanna hears it. I think some of the other girls said they heard it. Say something. How about now? Oh, I'm so sorry, Giovanna. If I go out and I lose you, you better come. I'll open up a new channel, but I'll go out and come back in. I'm gonna go out and come back in and see if that might help you. If I lose you, I'll start another stream.